Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am in Hastings, Nebraska, the home of Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid is an American icon, even though it's kind of faded somewhat over the years. I'll explain more about that. But we'll be going to the Hastings Museum to see the Kool-Aid exhibit, explore lots of memorabilia and learn the history of Kool-Aid and its founder. But first, we're going to see where it was first invented. So there's a marker there. Let's get started. All right, so to give you an idea where it is on First Street. There's a lot of one-way streets here in downtown Hastings. So yeah, it's not too hard to recognize. The marker is right there. The Kool-Aid Factory. The building is known locally as the birthplace of Kool-Aid. More accurately, it was the home of the Perkins Products Company, which was the manufacturing and retail enterprise of Kool-Aid inventor Edwin E. Perkins and his family. The company was housed here from 1923 until 1931, when the firm moved to Chicago to expand production of Kool-Aid. As a young boy in Henley, Nebraska, he was fascinated with chemistry, printing, and products like Jell-O, which was sold in his father's general store. When Mr. Perkins came to Hastings at age 31 in 1920, his principal interests were patent medicines and household products. With that kind of background, he began producing a line of over 125 owner-made items, which were sold door-to-door and by mail. One of the most popular was Fruit Smack, a fruit-flavored liquid concentrate. By 1927, he had developed a powdered soft drink mix called Kool-Aid, which he packaged in envelopes and sold in grocery stores. Demand for his product was so great that it soon had international sales. And then it was mostly focusing on Kool-Aid, and then it was renamed Kool-Aid, as how we know it, AID, in 1934. In 1953, it was sold to General Foods. It went on to become a household name and made Perkins a wealthy man. The Perkins family remembered in its Nebraska roots, donating generously to philanthropies and institutions in Adams County and elsewhere in the state. And here's all the stuff that's in their name. That marker was placed here in 1997 to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the Adams County Historical Society. Well, I'm sorry, the city of Hastings, I'm sorry. Now, Kool-Aid, I mean, yeah, it's not to say it didn't have its bad publicity, starting with the whole Jonestown massacre. I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid, thus its association with cults. So, like, if you support a certain presidential candidate or party or something that nobody likes, you say, well, did you drink the Kool-Aid? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've heard that many times, especially in social media comments. Also, because the nation is more focused on health and how Kool-Aid stains your teeth, its high sugar content, and it's also had a relation with LSD, the 1960s drug, but I won't get into that. But yes, this is the birthplace of Kool-Aid. Hastings does celebrate the Kool-Aid Festival every summer. Oh, cool. It even has like all the flavors and the time frame. Well, when they were invented and when they were used, like cherry, lemon lime, grape, lemonade. And yeah, you can buy Kool-Aid still today, but unfortunately, you know, a lot of other things have kind of taken its place. But I mean, I do have my personal memories of Kool-Aid myself, especially when I would go to church picnics or Bible school, and at the end they'd have like treats, and they'd have like Kool-Aid to drink. No soda, just water and Kool-Aid, and that's where I mostly had memories of it. And sometimes my mom would fix it on hot summer days. Now there's definitely a lot more about Kool-Aid here, but I'm not going to get into that. There's so much to see, but we're going to see more at the museum. But did you know that more than 500 million gallons of Kool-Aid are consumed worldwide every year? No, I did not know that. Kool-Aid with cottage cheese and gingerbread, wow. All right, so what I'm going to do, I don't know what this building is now, but I can see where the Perkins Products Company, they want to retain its historical significance. So I'm going to go ahead and take you to the Hastings Museum. It is just up the road into town, so here we go. All right, so here I am at the Hastings Museum, and it's actually really bigger than I thought it would be. There's even a planetarium here, huh. But that's the main entrance. It's kind of tricky because it's not in the front of the building, which I thought would be on the other side. This is pretty much the main drag. But I'm gonna go ahead and go over here and show the Kool-Aid Man statue. And here we go. This is definitely a popular selfie spot, although I tried taking a selfie here, but my phone just didn't really have enough angle or whatever, or enough space. So yeah, have somebody take a picture of you with this thing. Or maybe I can just do it myself. Hey! But over here it talks more about the statue and the Kool-Aid Man. So it says here, the Kool-Aid Man has famous feet that have helped him bust through countless walls since his 1975 debut. In 2008, Kool-Aid Man had his footprints immortalized in concrete at the world-famous Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. Well, it's now the TCL Theater, but anyway, the concrete prints were donated to the city of Hastings by Kraft. I'll show you those in a sec. Now Kraft Heinz. The footprints were first on display at the Adams County Visitors Bureau. When the office moved in 2017, the footprints were relocated to the Hastings Museum. In the tradition of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, we invite you to take your picture with these famous footprints. Then come inside and experience the Kool-Aid Discover the Dream exhibit. Okay, here's a little stats. 11,000 pounds when full. Okay. And here we go. Should I just take a foot selfie? May 1st, 2000. Oh yeah! So I couldn't resist. But yeah, it's got that famous smile and everything. Alright. Well, now it's time to venture into the museum. I guess I'm in the natural history part. But, oh, here's the map right here. Okay, so it looks like I'm on the main floor. And then the Kool-Aid part is in the lower floor. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But it is kind of cool to learn about the natural history of Hastings, Nebraska. Oh, look, a polar bear. Now this is kind of interesting. I did not know Hastings has or had its own symphony orchestra. Has always been a music city since. Okay, well, that's good to know. Wow, this is kind of cool. I mean, even though I'm here for the Kool-Aid stuff, you know, I thought I'd kind of show you, you know, what to expect when you go to this museum. Ooh, now that is very retro right there. Alright, here's that exhibit that I've been wanting to see. Okay, so I'm going to be walking into an old merchandise store. Oh, okay. Well, it's already past January 1st, 2025, so... Okay. So this does tell very much in detail who Edwin Perkins was. Like, he was a workaholic. He was inspired mostly by Jell-O, which at the time, in the early 20th century, it was a very popular dessert. And he wanted to make something similar to it, and that he did. Well, sorta. And how he came to town. So yeah, it's definitely something worth checking out. Yeah, here is his old briefcase. And then he also had a research notebook. And let's not forget, Kool-Aid is sold internationally. And here's some of the countries. I mean, you can get it pretty much anywhere in the world in at least 66 countries. A lot in the Caribbean. A few in Africa and some in the Middle East. And of course Canada and Mexico and over here. Wonder why not Australia? Yeah, here's some of the international mixes there. Kool-Aid through the decades, 1960s. Oh, there's even a record. That looks like, yeah, Captain Kangaroo. There's even a Kool-Aid tent. Wow. Kool-Aid can cooler. Boy, in the 70s, they really went all out. Kool-Aid beanie. Now, this is really the era that I'm familiar with, the 80s and the 90s. Kool-Aid drinks. I remember those trolls. People treated them like they were Beanie Babies. Kool-Aid Kids trivia game. I don't know why, but I remember that one. I mean, of course, I was a child of the 80s and 90s, so. I think these are stuff that you can redeem, you could have redeemed with Kool-Aid points. Yep, see, that's what I'm talking about. Game Boy. Yeah, I remember Kool-Aid Burst and yeah, the wacky zany video. There's even a camera. I tell you. And for the kids, you can put together a puzzle. Perfect. This is kind of hard to read because the white lettering kind of goes into the picture, but in 1953, that was when Edwin announced to his employees that he was retiring and selling the company to the General Foods Corporation, mostly due to health and worries over estate taxes and all that. Okay, so before he did Kool-Aid, he did something called Nixotine. This was to help curb or prevent, or to help people quit tobacco. And this was before, you know, I think it was all linked to cancer. Well, at least cigarettes, I guess. I don't know. And that was when he used print media to do that. Wow. Here is something called Owner Made. That was the name that Perkins used when he was packaging his various products, such as like spices, toiletries, medicines, and household cleaners. But nobody knows who the Owner Made girl is, or was. At least that's what it says there. Okay, so here's the genesis of Kool-Aid. It was one of the products available in Perkins' Owner-Made catalog. It was called Fruit Smack. It was a liquid concentrate in which consumers could add water and sugar to make a soft drink. And then it says here, in 1926, Edwin attended the St. Louis Food Manufacturing Convention. Wow. When he returned home, he had a formula for creating a powdered drink mix he would call Kool-Aid, spelled A-D-E. And then here is Chicago. Okay, so that was where he lived, right in Oak Park. And then that was where first Perkins Products Company was, on 65th Street and Central Avenue. And this is where his second company was located, on Rockwell Street, South Rockwell Street. Here's some of the early, I work in retail, so we call these things shippers. But I've also heard entrepreneurs say, even though you invented a product, that's usually not enough to make you money. Sometimes competition will eat you up with sound-alike and look-alike products, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened, but here's some of the imitators. Competition with Kool-Aid, like Flavor Aid and Root Beer and Miracle Aid. In fact, here's some of the Cheery Aid. That was definitely way before my time. And back when people read magazines and read the newspaper, yes, this is what you would see in ads. I mean, print advertising was definitely a powerful medium back in the day. You can also flip through these. Golden Nectar, what? Kool-Aid Punch. Oh, so cool. This looks like something that came out of a Life magazine, or Look. You're never too old for Kool-Aid, that's right. Kool-Aid lemonade, now that stuff is good. Here's some other products that were created by Perkins, like the gelatin dessert and gum, stuff that you can put in your ice cream. Now in this room you can also watch Kool-Aid commercials. So let's see here. How about from, oh wait, I gotta touch the button down here. Okay, here we go.
Introducing new Squeeze of Kool-Aid Cool Bar.
Oh, that looks like a 1950s kitchen during the golden days of America. Oh my gosh, my family literally has the same step stool, but unfortunately we donated it to a museum, or not a museum, to a junkyard. Another thing my family used to have was one of these pictures. I think it was this one right here, the one that's white. It's not clear, but it's kind of clearish, if you know what I mean. But yeah, my childhood memories are definitely coming back to life in this museum. Okay, what was his raspberry? Oh, that was discontinued in 2001. I'll be damned. I mean, yeah, you can still buy Kool-Aid today, but of course there's so many drink choices out there, and I'm sorry to say a lot more healthier ones. So I don't even know what kids enjoy these days since I don't have kids, but yeah. And it's also worth knowing that there are Kool-Aid collectors out there, people that probably stash their basements with old memorabilia that hasn't even been opened yet. Is that Pete Rose? Yep, that's Pete Rose. Yeah, I'm sure maybe somebody donated their collections here. I mean, a lot of these kind of range over the years. Yeah, Barbie Kool-Aid stand. Oh, you make kids feel like adults by having one of those in their room, you know. Oh man, then that really takes me back. Milk caps, well, they were called Pogs back in the day. And that was a fad that really came and went. Stickers, oh man, 80s collecting. I mean, this is probably even a partial, you look at all the Kool-Aid stuff you can collect. And now, finally, the company's mascot, the Kool-Aid Man. It says that he first appeared on the scene in 1975, appearing in so many commercials. This is definitely how I remember him. He'd be like, oh yeah. And that would often be imitated. Now in 1994, he received a computer-generated update, and of course, back then, companies wanted to use CGI animation rather than real actors, and unfortunately, that practice is still being used today. Kool-Aid days. And as I mentioned, this town or city does celebrate its connection to Kool-Aid. Some more memorabilia. Let's tell you, the possibilities are really endless. Yep, Funko Pops. I was wondering if they were going to have those things. And now you get to vote for your favorite flavor. Well, this is pretty much donations. I think it's going to go to a scholarship related to the museum. So yes, you're donating to a good cause no matter what. All right, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, just outside the Hastings Museum in Hastings, Nebraska. Just visited the Kool-Aid exhibit. Come on out if you're in Nebraska. All right, I'm Jason, signing off.